Welcome to another Endless Space video. For this video, I wanted to discuss heroes, and I'm probably going to have to do a couple restarts of this to get the kinds of heroes I want to show at the beginning. I'm playing as the Pilgrims on purpose because when I hire this hero, he will automatically level to level 3. So I wanted to use Inspect. Now, this hero is a commander, so he's good with strategy, which in short means he's really good at defense. That means that, well, talk about administrator. That also means he's good with labor. So he has some use on a fleet, but he also has some use over a colony. So if I was to choose defender, and I choose a couple points of defender, this hero will gain special abilities as an access down here to unlock that are unique to commanders only, and specifically related to defense. So in this particular case, because he's an administrator, administrators are really important at the start of a game. If you get one of these, consider yourself having won the jackpot, and here's why. First thing you want to do is take a single point in labor. As soon as you do that, you notice that there's four more options that have popped up. Veteran, which I'll talk about in a moment, Civil Engineer, Crop Geneticist, and Minister of Propaganda. Civil Engineer and Crop Geneticist are extraordinarily important. What these are going to do are add point values to a system instead of percentages. If you look up here, he's already got a 60% bonus. By adding Civil Engineer, you're going to be adding points to a star system. Now, why does that matter so much? It's only 15 points, right? I mean, star systems can have hundreds of points. Well, what it really matters for is as soon as I select this and I put him on a star system that has nothing else, you're going to see a huge bonus to finishing construction. And you can get new star systems up and running with this administrator in no time flat. Now, if you have multiple administrators, I generally will say that I'll have 2 colony supervisors and a pilot. If you look down here, there's pilots and adventurers, commanders and pilots. In short, anybody that's good with fleets, both of these heroes are good with fleets, should be your third choice. Now you can expand space, see how it says Academy size 3, 2, 3. You can expand space by discovering technology, but that comes later in the game. The important thing to get you started is going to be to set up your active heroes. I can't tell you what to get later in the game because it's really going to depend on your situation. You're probably going to need less administrators and more fleet commanders, in all likelihood, because if you're still colonizing stuff late in the game, that's usually an anomaly. So having these two people to administrate colonies early on is usually helpful. Now, in this particular case, because we have commander, pilot, these 2 heroes are really specifically geared towards ships. Making them good at labor and wit really is not going to help anybody. It's not going to take advantage of the special abilities that they have, and that's just frankly a disservice to them. So, anyways, just to prove my point, take those 2 points and accept. Now, I want to go back for a moment. Veteran says it adds 1 point in pretty much any single, or in every single stat as soon as you put points into it. Now, 1 point doesn't really translate out to a lot in terms of these percentages on the right, but it is valuable. And the reason it's valuable is when you get to the 4th version of this, Veteran 4, it actually increases all your stats by 2, and that's the final version of Veteran. When you finish getting all of the Veteran abilities, you get an ability called Cyber Skilled, or Cyber Minded, I think it is. And the hero gains the ability to you put a point into that skill, and it gives you 2 ability points back. So it's a nice way to sort of accelerate heroes later on, while sort of shoring them up and making them rather well rounded. Now, since I'm not going to be able to show some of the later choices, after Civil Engineer, I strongly suggest Crop Geneticist because he's going to add the points and food to help get that population up. The higher the population is, the more it's going to take advantage of buildings, and the better off you're going to be overall in that star system. Now, whenever you assign a hero to a star system, he can only spend 5 turns there before you can transfer him to another location. So keep in mind that he's going to have to be in any given location for at least 5 turns. So if you're colonizing too quickly, you're probably going to want to spend money to get certain things, primarily focusing on industry up. Once you get industry buildings up, that increases the industrial output, which means that everything else that you build in that star system is going to go that much faster, which is the primary reason that we've chosen Civil Engineer. You can't give him Minister of Propaganda, but frankly, if you've watched video 1, you probably won't really want to be colonizing too many places that are going to give you a lot of unhappiness. So you should probably hold off on doing such things until you at least get infinite supermarkets. So, keeping all that in mind, after you've gotten these 3 skills, what I generally like to do is I've tried it both ways. I've tried like totally focusing labor, totally focusing wit, and neither one of those really seems to be the right thing to do. In my opinion, what you really need to do is try to keep labor and wit as close together in terms of points as you can. Now, because he's an administrator, he's always going to have more points in labor than he is in wit. But you can take some points over here in wit and be able to give him bonuses that'll at least pull it up. And then that way you won't fall behind in science and dust, and then be out of things to produce, versus having a lot of science and dust but not being able to produce it because you don't have the labor. In addition to the abilities shown here below, the only other ability that's actually missing is corporate, which gives him, which is the same thing as administrator really, except it puts all your points in wit instead. And so in that way, that covers everything. I'm actually going to check this guy out real quick. Pilots are mostly offense, but they also tend to be pretty decent at melee on the ground, so you can put these guys in star systems to help them hold off invasions by other species. So any points that you get for a hero in offense, which offense here, are going to give you some bonuses. It'll even give you some special dust abilities that you can activate in combat for a small fee. It's usually about 25, I think. Although if you have negatives to use dust ability, it can be up to like 50 or I think 70 at most. So once you get your administrative hero, to make my point, here's the home star system. It's going to take 3 turns to get evolved soils. Assign him to the star system. He's already chopped off a turn. Yeah, I mean, he's gone from 37. Actually, I can't just unassign it, but he's gone up to 37 industry for this star system. Now, that bonus, when we're out of production, we can actually convert to science, or even convert to, creating more money. So the bonuses that they give to industry really do end up helping out, and it's one of the reasons that industry is so powerful in this game. So there you go. That is my segment on heroes.